Yeah, let me get a fucking,
We're live.
Are we live?
This is the Carcast.
Guys, we've given you it all. We've had the couch cast. We've had the couch cast.
Couch cast.
The party cast.
The party cast. Yeah, the backyard.
What else? The couch cast.
We've done the couch cast.
Now
we've been on the road.
Oh, fuck.
Whoa.
Now we're innovating a new thing. It's called
Carcast.
Carcast. Now,
guys,
if you can't guess what that is, then you're a fucking idiot.
I got one word for you, 3 letters. Car.
Cast.
Cast.
We're going to do a podcast in a moving car.
Yep.
It's never been done before up until today.
Yeah, I think we're the first to ever do it out of anybody who's ever made podcasts.
That's a fact.
Because a podcast in a car people have done, but no one's done a car cast in a car.
Yeah, I mean, that's for sure.
That's where we separate from them.
Today we find ourselves in a small town called Wayne, New Jersey, where I've just picked up Joseph from his house, and Joseph said he was experiencing the symptoms of a heart attack.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I got into the car and I was like, oh God, I got a shortness of breath for a second. And then it made me think of this one time I was going to work and I was getting some breakfast next door before I went in, and this guy comes in. He's a construction guy, he's a real New York guy. He definitely was from Staten Island, just the way he was talking and looking, 100% Staten Islander. 2 of his workers, and he walks in and he's flipping out. He comes in and fussing. He's like, you fucking believe this? He's like, $9 fucking for a bacon, egg, and are you fucking kidding me? For a bacon, egg, and cheese? They got fucking balls. And, I'm sitting across the way and I'm laughing. I'm thinking oh, geez, you'd think he's been to New York before.
It's funny, dude, because when you go in those, I don't know what you'd call them, upscale bodegas.
They're open markets.
Yeah,
hot food markets.
Before, in my internships, I would go to a lot of those and get coffee in the morning. But they're, huge, and they have, buffets, so you get, all salts of life in there.
They have everything.
Everything you could think of.
Yeah.
Vegan, vegetarian.
Everything.
It's crazy. And, yeah, you see a lot of crazy, but, you'll see a dickhead construction worker next to, a nice old lady. So, continue.
They
this
charge
guy's
out of
going
the
off.
ass, too. That's another big
I didn't know.
$9
for a bacon, egg, and cheese does seem a tad unreasonable, but you're in New York City.
So he's flipping out about that. And now he's sitting a table over for me, so I'm having my breakfast, and I'm kind of just cracking up, eavesdropping, listening to the conversation. And, they're talking, and now he goes on and he says, I'm one of 6 people I know this year that had a heart attack. You fucking believe that? And he's like, not to mention, he's like, I'm the only one out of those fucking guys I know that fucking lived. It's like the rest of them died. I don't know what it is. You get to that age. And then he says,
was this guy in shape?
He wasn't in shape. No.
He wasn't?
No.
How old did he look?
50s, 60s,
Yeah.
He looked like he could be a buddy of ours, fathers,
Yeah.
And he's going on, and he's real rambunctious. His whole persona, you can tell he's always worked up. And so he's talking about how he's the only one who survived the heart attack, and he's like, yeah, since then, I gotten real zen. And
He said that?
Yeah, he said zen, too, which made me laugh, because I'm like, I could just imagine that's all his wife.
I don't think he knows what that word means.
Well, yeah, and then when you're flipping out over a $9 bacon, egg, and cheese, I'm like, yeah, you got zen.
Yeah.
He probably would have threw the sandwich at them, before the heart attack.
Dude, the fucking Hell's Kitchen to, the Penn area really is a fucking experience. Bro.
Yeah.
It is absolutely insane.
Yeah, I don't know how people, my buddy Phil used to live there, and it's a lot, dude.
Oh, it's
a lot.
You know what I always talk about? That feeling of, you're in the hustle and bustle of New York City, and then I like that feeling where you get out of it and you don't have to deal with that anymore.
Yeah.
You imagine living there like that.
Oh,
You'd be just going home to more of that.
And it's just it's between the noise, the setting, but then you'll get back to your apartment and a crackhead's just lying in your doorway.
Yeah.
And he's fuck you, or
that's just every time I get off the bus, it's just crackhead central. It's insane.
It's Chernobyl. It's like World War Z.
It's worse than World War Z.
It's World War ZZ Top.
ZZ Top. World War XZ
down.
Plus.
World War ZZXZ plus tops. Yeah.
Premium
package pay-per-view.
What else?
Look at this guy. He's getting off his shift at Starbucks.
He said, you know what? The pay's not great, but the benefits.
I'll take a mango dragon fruit refresher to go.
You know what I was thinking about recently? Starbucks used to be adventurous and have cool shit, and now it's just like we have 9 variations of pumpkin spice. What is this? Mango dragon fruit. Fuck that. Nitro cold brew. You know what my favorite thing about Starbucks is?
What?
You go and get a cold brew, $3 or $4, pretty expensive, but whatever. You know, you get with what you pay for. You know?
Right.
But then you get the nitro cold brew, and for some reason that tacks on like an extra $2, as if adding bubbles is like a fucking like, you know, a delicacy.
It's like a special blend that they've been, you know, they
I
kept
feel like
in the
now
barrel.
I feel like I'm this guy from the bodega. You believe that? Extra $2 we're driving around.
Yeah, and I had a heart attack. I survived. You know, I've been taking it easy since then.
Oh my god, look at this line at Starbucks right now. It's good. We got a good
It's crazy.
time.
It's crazy.
Carcast.
Carcast.
Guys, you're gonna listen to my Starbucks order. What do you want, Jeff?
I'm just gonna have a grande cold brew black
Nice.
on me till I got coffee.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Carcast, dude.
You mean it?
It's a Carcast.
That's insane.
You know, they say they pay people for great ideas, and I got into your car.
Hi, how's it going?
Doing good.
Good. Can I get 2 black medium cold brews?
I'm sorry. I'm gonna wait to get a little closer.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I gotta move up a little bit.
Sure.
Sorry. 2 medium black cold brews.
Anything else?
That's it.
2 regular cold brews, right?
Yeah.
Matt?
Gabe?
Gabe?
No, wait. This isn't Gabe. Is
Oh my
this
God.
Gil?
Wow.
Damn.
My heart.
All right. I know other drive-through guys now because you haven't been here in a while.
Thought it was 6.
Gil, dude, what happened? I thought you quit on me.
No, I have a second job.
Gil, what the fuck?
Yeah, I know.
It's been too long, dude. It's been like
Yeah.
6 or 7 months.
Yeah, I still recognize you.
You son of a gun. Could you see me?
Yeah, I can see you.
Jeez, this is crazy.
No, I'll have the drink special for you.
Gil, it's
Yeah.
been too long, dude. I want to see some of your new art. Your Nightmare account's been quiet.
Dude, I have a ton.
Fucking send it my way, dude.
Sure, man.
All right, I'll pull
Come
up
on
so these
through, I'll
other
show you,
people
some
could
good
order.
stuff that gives you nightmares.
All right, I'm pulling up.
See ya.
Dude,
Wow.
Matt knows the drive-through guy.
And I fucking fucked up his name too. How embarrassing is that?
You piece of shit.
I am a piece of shit. I've been going to
You
this
know,
guy.
I used to be a piece of shit.
Dude, I've been going to this same Starbucks guy for years now, and then he disappears on me. Well, I'll actually bring up a little anecdotal story.
Okay.
So we're currently at the Starbucks on the corner of Hamburg and, what is this?
Burdan.
Burdan, right? And I've been going to the Starbucks for years, ever since it opened, like my junior, senior year of high school, go all the time, love it. The employees knew me and Tundo, we were there every night, we used to do homework here. Then in college, me and Tundo would meet here all the time and chill, right? And then, obviously over the pandemic, you couldn't go inside Starbucks anymore, and like I didn't really want to spend money on coffee, so I started making my own coffee. Wasn't going here a lot, but whatever. I would still come every once in a while through the drive-thru, see my friend Gil. But then I matched with this girl on a dating app, right? Mm-hmm. From Wayne. I went to high school with her. And I don't want to go into too much detail about this because I'm still not positive she's not going to murder me. But she went to high school with me. I was in some classes with her. She's a nice, quiet girl, but like when I say quiet, I mean really quiet. Like this is one of those girls that was like never said a word. You didn't hear her speak a word for 4 years of high school. Like wasn't very popular. Didn't hang out in whatever.
She
groups.
talked one day and she had an Australian accent, and you were like, "Wait, what? That's what you sound like?"
Fuck? So whatever. She was like, "Hey, Matt," and I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?" You know, this was over the pandemic. I was looking for love. I was lonely. And she seemed, nice. Maybe she came out of her shell a little bit in college. And she's like, "Do you want?" She was very forward too, which I liked. She's like, "We should hang out." And I'm like, "Yeah, let's hang out. Why not?" I was like, "Let's grab a coffee, go for a walk around Packanack Lake, Wayne, New Jersey." She's like, "Great, yes." So I pick her up, walk with her around the lake, buy some coffees. Walking around the lake, very nice girl, very sweet, still very strange, unfortunately. Very weird. I walk around this lake, and by the end of it, I'm like, all right, well, this isn't going to work out. But, one and done. It is what it is. Great. So, dropped her back off home. She immediately texts me. She's like, "That was amazing. Do you think we're going to see each other again soon?" And I'm like, yeah, like maybe. Yeah, we'll see what goes on. And she's like, "But when, though?" And I'm like, you know, I'm a busy guy, a man about town, Matty Ferrari, you know, so I can't say a specific date. And then she, like, immediately starts sending me, like, TikToks, replying to all my Instagram stories and being like, is this about me? And I'm like, what are you talking about, lady? Long story short, I kind of, like, am trying to, like, ghost her and push her off, but it really was, like, this was all in a week span. Like, I was just, like, I'm busy every night. I can't, like, talk to you, you know? It's plan to meet you, for that matter. Then she, like, all of a sudden one night, I'm out with friends, and I get, like, 10 calls from her. And I'm like, oh, my God, like, what the fuck is happening? And she left me one of the most horrifying voicemails to this day. I still have it because it was like, I'm like, oh, this girl's going to murder me. Like, it was that bad. So I text her and I'm like, hey, blank, I don't know, like, what you think is going on here. I didn't mean to, like, mislead you or think anything's crazy, but I just don't think this is going to work out, like, blah, blah, blah. And then she's texting me all this weird shit. I'm freaking out, and I was like, hey, you have a good life. I'm sorry. I kind of blocked her on everything because she was, like, really just, like, commenting on weird shit. She actually commented on, like, somehow found Hard Love and was commenting on it. I'm like, what the fuck is this girl doing? So, long story short, I knew for a fact she also worked at this Starbucks, and I was like, fuck. Now I could never go back to that Starbucks ever again.
Ever. And
then about, like, 8 months after that happened last year, that was over 2020, and then, like, in 2021, I finally came through the drive-thru and ran into Gil, who's about to serve us our coffee, and I told him that story. He's like, oh, no, dude, she's gone now, she quit. I'm like, oh, thank God. He's like, yeah, dude, she's fucking insane. I'm like, yeah, I get that.
Oh, yeah, trust me, Gil.
But that's just a little bit about my Starbucks social life.
That's just a little bit about your life.
Did I ever tell you that story?
I don't think so, dude.
I would like to play the voicemail on the pod, but I feel like it might be a dangerous prospect.
Yeah, maybe we just double down.
You know, we do it.
Maybe we just double down.
Oh, fuck. Maybe we play it, but we, like...
And then I'll morph
the voice. Yeah. Make it, like, deep. Man, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Here's drawn blood.
That was great. We watched the new Jackass movie last night, guys, and you would think in 2022 that was a little lowbrow for us, but I'll tell you what.
Fucking awesome.
It still works.
Yeah, it still works. That's
still
for damn
hits.
sure.
Dude, so I looked it up yesterday. Did you know that Bam Margera was actually in one scene of the movie?
No.
He's one of the marching band guys on the treadmill. I went back and looked, and you see him. Then I went down a rabbit hole of, like, what's going on with Bam Margera, and he is fucked up, dude.
Oh, yeah. I unfollowed him on Instagram, like, maybe 5 or 6 months ago.
Well, that was what it was. I forgot that he was going on Instagram Live just, like, threatening to kill everyone he knows.
Yeah.
Including
it was not
the directors, and guys are pulling up to Gil.
All right.
Gil Pender. It's been too long, man. It's been crazy. Where have you been?
Man. I work at a moving company.
Oh, really? So how often are you here now?
2 days a week?
Okay. Yeah, I haven't been here in a while. I work in the city now, so I'm, like, barely in Wayne. It sucks. I'm just commuting in and out.
And I feel that.
How's everything else, then?
Chilling, man.
Yeah?
Living the dream.
Hell yeah, bro. How's your art life going? Do I still follow? What was the name of that Instagram account?
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that's classic Gil.
Yeah,
That's sick.
What is it called? Nightmare or what?
Nightmare Cafe.
Yeah, I still follow you. Do you not post from it as much?
I mean, I try to, but
Oh, you posted this 1 week ago.
2 full-time jobs are...
I know.
Yeah.
I hear that, bro. Thanks, bruv. Good seeing you.
Thanks,
I'm
Gil.
gonna come visit soon.
I'll be around.
Gil Pender.
Joey, dude.
Sundays and Thursdays?
That works for me, dude. Sunday, I'll make it a Sunday ritual. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, brother. Be well. Good seeing
Peace
you.
out, man.
Have a good one.
Try it easy.
We will.
Gil. Oh, that Gil of mine.
Gil had a pretty rockin' zit on his cheek, and I wanted to just reach out and fucking pop it.
She'd be like, hold still, boy.
Give me your face, boy.
All right,
It's an interesting prospect to be a drive-through server, right?
probably not too bad.
I just heard an interesting story I saw an article.
The National Enquirer.
No, this is a real story. Remember the National Enquirer? I remember I'd be at like...
I read something about the environment in the National Enquirer.
I would. That's the one that was like a tabloid, right?
Yeah.
I used to be like at the supermarket checkout with my mom, and the headline would be like, "Bat boy discovered in Wayne, New Jersey. He's eating all the dogs." And I'm like, "Fuck, what? Like, I should get in on that." Like, I always wanted to read those magazines, but my mom would never buy them for me.
She didn't want to poison you with misinformation.
Yeah, I remember one time I did steal a remember they had Nickelodeon magazine?
Yeah.
I put it in the bottom of my cart because my mom said she wouldn't buy it for me, but I just put it under the groceries, and we walked out with it, and my mom was not happy, to say the least. That was probably one of the only times I've stolen anything in my entire life.
You ran off on ShopRite with the Nickelodeon magazine.
Yeah. Great magazine.
I used to subscribe, yeah. I had a subscription for a brief amount of time.
Did you? A Nickelodeon magazine?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Read it in the morning before school with my coffee.
Also known as just look at the pictures.
Yeah. I didn't know how to read.
Didn't you almost get like
You see, I was in the special class and I learned to read in 7th grade.
Didn't you almost get arrested by the FBI for like stealing SpongeBob episodes?
Wow, dude, you just brought back a memory.
I tell people that still because like
yeah,
that's insane to me that actually happened.
So what happened? Here's what happened. So
right off the bat, we already know from the previous statement that you're a big Nickelodeon guy.
Big Nickelodeon guy. I was watching SpongeBob last night, and that's actually a fact. It's a fact.
I can verify that.
I sent you a Snapchat.
I watched Jimmy Neutron.
Just like, sounds pretty weenie. But, so we got our first computer when I was in maybe 2nd or 3rd grade. And, that was a big part of my childhood. I got really good at learning how to use the computer, doing stuff, playing games. And one of the things that I learned to do very quickly, because I had an older brother, was the days of LimeWire and BearShare.
For our younger audience,
we hit a bump.
For our younger audiences, LimeWire, I remember my sister was rocking LimeWire.
File sharing.
It was a file sharing website in the early days of computers, and like
it was post Napster. It was like Napster was the first thing,
and it was kind of like right when iPods came out.
Yeah,
right?
So it was like Napster had happened like 99, 2000. That went away, and then it was BearShare. That was the big one, because that's what we started with. Everything we were getting was from BearShare, and then eventually that fell off, and it became LimeWire, then FrostWire.
And what that was a website where you could go and like steal music for free.
Right. You would download a program, and it was like open source, so anyone could upload files to it, and so people would just rip music.
I feel like some of that shit was out, like even Napster was out before iPods, so what were they downloading it to? Like just burning CDs?
Well, MP3 players existed before iPods.
Yeah.
You know, like there were MP3 players. They were only able to hold 50 or 100 songs or whatever the hell, but so that was that. So
you went beyond that.
Yeah, I went beyond that. And so I started using LimeWire all the time. And eventually I realized that not only could you get music, you can get movies, TV shows. So I downloaded Napoleon Dynamite.
This was torrenting, right?
It's literally torrenting, exactly. And so with torrenting, when you download something, you also seed it. And what seeding does is your computer's IP, and this is probably wrong, but we're going to just pretend it's right, is basically like sending it back so that it's easier to download. So now it's kind of like hosting it on another server, so to speak. So the more people that seed something, the quicker it downloads, the more efficient it is. But the key to torrenting is that you don't seed things, so that there's not as much of a trace to you ever downloading it. So I downloaded the movies. I downloaded SpongeBob movie and Napoleon Dynamite. Ripped them both. They were great. And maybe it was like a month later, my dad got something in the mail, and it was that they were that they have evidence that we're pirating movies, and they listed Napoleon Dynamite and the SpongeBob movie as like two things that they found us downloading. And my dad didn't get this stuff. None of our parents did. So my dad was like, holy shit,
Your
like, we're
parents probably
fucked.
had no fucking
Yeah, my
idea.
dad like was like, we're fucked.
Did you tell him right away?
No, he came down. He's like, dude, are you downloading movies on the computer or something? And I'm like, no. And he's like, you didn't download Napoleon Dynamite and SpongeBob movie? And so like, I was like, yeah, I did. Because he literally had a paper with what I got.
Who was it from? Was it from like Paramount, or was it from like?
No, it was from like
the fucking federal.
Who is it that does it? Like with pirating.
Yeah,
it might be. Is it the FBI? It might be the FBI. It's not the CIA. I'll tell you that.
CIA does
they
not.
would have been assassinated.
CIA,
they
would have psyoped you.
My dad's car would have like lost, like his brakes would have stopped working when we're all on the way to soccer practice.
It's like, you're fucking done. No, CIA cannot operate on U.S. soil. For a little educational part of the episode, they can only operate internationally, and the FBI can only operate on U.S. soil.
Okay, so it was probably the FBI or whoever handles like copyright.
A government agency.
Anyway,
yeah.
And so he's like, you gotta fucking delete those now. And so
As if that would cure the problem.
So I deleted them. Nothing ever happened again, probably because I never downloaded a movie again.
Oh, really?
But now,
I thought you guys actually had, like, your parents had to like reach out and be like, hey, my son's fucking like 8.
no, so my dad was like, we're deleting these and you gotta stop doing that, and I did. But then the funny part is once I got to middle school and I became a little computer whiz.
Yeah.
Shit, man. I got so many band discographies and like.
No, you were
movies.
fucking. I remember you would download whole.
I have
programs.
games. Yeah, games. I got Photoshop that way.
Yeah. You got a lot of shit.
I probably had Russian bots invading my computer way before it was cool, because I would download these programs that were from Russia so that I can create falsified Photoshop keys to unlock my fully paid for version of Photoshop. So I would like download this Russian program. It's all in
Meanwhile,
Russian.
you're 13 doing this?
Yeah, literally. Download it. It's all in Russian, but the button that's green means download. And so I'd click that button. It would generate a key. Like I just bought it on Adobe's website, put it in, and I'd have free Photoshop.
Jeez.
Changed the language from Russian to English, and then I started learning how to do that shit.
And remember, if the FBI is listening, this is all alleged.
Oh yeah, this is all allegedly.
We're not admitting to
You know,
crimes in the public forum.
I allegedly did that stuff.
We wrote it. It's created. This is the work of writers.
Look at these houses, dude. Fucking Franklin Lakes, I'm telling you.
Actually, speaking of Napster, that house we just passed, this is a true story. My aunt and uncle, when I was a child, moved to Franklin Lakes. My 2 little cousins from Franklin Lakes. My grandma, my nana and nana live with them. So I was right here at this country club a lot, the Indian Trails Club. I was always at their house. They had their highfalutin friends. By the way, a little keyed in to Franklin Lakes. Franklin Lakes, obviously, a lot of money, nice and all, but it's what we like to call nouveau riche. There's no old money here, which means there are a bunch of jerk-offs that are buying their Russian mail-order brides who will eventually divorce them for half their money. But, that being said, my aunt...
You should run those people over.
My aunt had a friend through the town that lived in that giant house we just saw. And that lady had a daughter, and apparently the daughter was like a little strange, but like whatever, cutesy. And somehow or another met Sean Parker, the founder of Napster and quote-unquote co-creator of Facebook, married him, and my aunt showed me pictures from the wedding. She wasn't there, but it was like it was $100 million wedding, or no, $60 million wedding, and it was in the woods in California or something, and it was like Lord of the Rings themed, and I saw the pictures, and it was the fucking strangest shit I've ever seen, dude. I hope all those people that are rich and weird in Silicon Valley get hit by a train.
Wow.
Yeah.
Imagine wasting $60 million on a wedding.
That's insane, right?
Give me $3 million.
Give me one.
Give me one. Give
There
us
is-
both one, and you still got 58 for the wedding. You're fine. Maybe
Yeah.
you get one less fog machine.
I always think about that when like people are like, you know, Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk has enough money to give everyone on the planet $1 million. And I'm like, that does sound interesting and nice, but then wouldn't that, like, affect inflation or something?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the value,
of money would just drop.
like that, yeah. Well,
Like, wouldn't a loaf of bread just be worth $30 then?
maybe. Yeah, if everyone got it.
Yeah.
But man, everyone would be rich.
You would walk in, you'd say, everyone's got $1 million. Wow, everyone's got $1 million.
You know, I'd be like, oh, everyone in here's got $1 million. I walk in there and I say, wow, they all got $1 million. Dude, the Derby was this weekend. Rich Strike took the gold.
Oh, dude,
80 to 1 odds. Did you see?
No, my dad just told me about this. Apparently, he was like the worst odds, like
80 to 1.
Like he was supposed to lose. Like there was no chance he was going to win.
It was a Cinderella story.
Did your brother bet on him?
I don't know.
I got fucking
might
electric. Can you imagine,
dude?
You put $100.
People made a lot of money off that fucker. But the funny part is this. Rich Strike, he's, if you ask me, I think he's got a ketamine problem, because post-race he was gnawing.
I was just saying, I saw a video, he just wins the race and immediately starts biting all the other horses.
He's just like, ow, and they're like, get off.
I saw a video on Twitter last night that it's like, winner of Kentucky Derby tries to eat the other horses, and they're trying to like, get off the track.
I'm like,
it's funny because the jockey's like trying to control.
Yeah, they're like, yeah. I'm like, well, he probably was on a K-bender the whole weekend.
It's the funniest thing is like ketamine's supposed to be horse tranquilizer, but like I don't think it does that.
Maybe it's one of those things where like in low dose or opposite in high doses it is like
a tranquilizer,
but in low doses it's like a pure stimulant.
I guess so.
I mean, isn't that how it works in real life technically? Like it's big in like the London club scene because they'll just snort it like bumps of coke and it's like energizing. They'll dance the night away. But if you do too much, you get K-holed real quick.
What is a K-hole like on paper?
But I'm pretty sure ketamine's a dissociative.
What is that?
A dissociative drug. Yeah, you disassociate.
How is that?
It's not a hallucinogenic. Like there's differences.
Is that like?
I'm not a drug chemist.
I was gonna say, is there a genre of drug called a disassociative?
Yeah.
Why would they make drugs that make you disassociate?
I mean, just like to make any other drugs, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, like for like their actual medical use.
Well, I mean, we're seeing now ketamine in clinical like use is having results with depression. Apparently.
Yeah.
I know someone personally who got it. I don't know if they're doing too much. I don't know if they're doing like way better, but
I love ketamine.
There's like places in New York you like don't even need prescription. You can book it, but it's like $350.
Really?
Yeah, like we could go tomorrow and do like a ketamine treatment session.
That's quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
I'm wondering when they're gonna legalize shrooms.
I think that'll happen within the next decade.
They're
already decriminalized in California and Oregon.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Maybe not California. Definitely Oregon, though.
That's one, like, you know, same or even more so than weed. It's like, why is that illegal? I don't know. Actually, maybe it makes sense if that's illegal.
No, but I agree. It probably shouldn't be legal. Like, you can be controlled or, like...
I've been really thinking a lot lately about, like, the philosophy that, like, it would kind of be better if every single drug was legal.
Oh, dude, you're finally coming around.
What do you mean? You like that?
Yeah, I've been a big proponent of that. I mean, it's tough because like
you know that's like a very, very libertarian policy.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they did it in Portugal. It had.
They did?
It had like pretty positive results when they did it in Portugal because they had a really bad heroin problem.
That's what I was gonna say. Because think about
problem.
it. That if you legalize heroin, if you legalize coke, what you do is immediately get the fentanyl off the fucking books. You know what I'm saying?
Also, too, the hundreds of millions of dollars that are spent on drug enforcement, now you can, instead of spending hundreds of million, you could spend tens of millions and have treatment centers where people can go and get the drugs administered or get put on, you know, different regimens to get off, you know, the high amounts of whatever. But
yeah,
like that's what they did in Portugal.
Because my whole thing is, like, people are always like, oh, but, like, you know, you don't want to be in a world where you could just go to, like, the convenience store. Well, first off, it wouldn't be a convenience store. They'd have to highly regulate it.
Yeah. You would go and get shot up with whatever it is you're using.
Yeah, you could do that. I'm saying, like, even if it would be nice if you could just go and buy retail heroin, but you have to go through, like, a severe background check and all this shit. Because, like, my whole thing is, like, I don't think that would make more people do heroin. I don't think Johnny Goodboy would randomly be like, you know, I had a pretty shitty day today. I'm gonna go try heroin. You know what I
for
mean?
sure. I mean, and the thing is too, if Johnny Goodboy wants to try heroin, whether there's a store for it or he's going to Patterson, he's going to do it.
And dude, the amount of stories and like you hear like all this shit. And it might be hearsay or whatever. But like the amount of stories I've heard from people this year and the past year that are like 3 kids from my town all did one little bag of coke together and died of fentanyl overdose. Like I read a story a couple months ago, 4 roommates all dead in their apartment. And,
yeah, I know.
what I mean?
know plenty of people, first and second hand, that have went that way, and it's unfortunate.
Yeah, dude.
Because if it was legal, there would be resources to test your drugs. You know, I mean, people could buy testing kits now, but it would be something that's so accessible that it would be like everyone has one when they're doing these things.
Exactly.
Or it would be so heavily regulated, you wouldn't even have to worry about testing.
Yeah. And then, like, and once again, this is hard because, like, you see it with weed because I don't know.
This has become a Rogan episode real quick.
But, like, with weed, it's like, we were talking about it yesterday. It's like, oh, it's legal. That should put, like, drug dealers who make their living off of selling untaxed weed off the market. But from what I hear, it's like the price discrepancy doesn't really justify that yet. You know what I mean? Like,
that's the key word.
You think it will, though?
Eventually, yeah. Like, you go to a place like California, sure, there's still plenty of black market, but a lot of it, I feel like, is would intercontinental be the correct term?
What does that mean?
Never mind.
Coming from a different country?
I'm a retard.
That means flying through.
No, what I'm saying is that it's like with like black market in California, they might be shipping it, nationwide. It might be like something like that. Like there's growers in California that are shipping pounds and pounds of weed to New Jersey or to, Arkansas. It's not something so much where people like buy retail black market weed in California.
Why? What do you mean?
There's no point. Like, buying weed from, like, your neighborhood drug dealer in California, there's no point because you can get amazing pot for the lowest price points.
From California.
Right, from California, from a dispensary. The thing that people might do is, like, they can go to the black market grower and buy 2 pounds of, like, great weed for really cheap and then ship it to fucking Wisconsin.
Just undercut
the
market
of
California, then sell it to places that don't have it.
Or, I'm sure, there's obviously plenty instances of probably, hey, my buddy has some crazy weed right now. But, like, you know what I'm saying? The day-to-day regular retail people.
It would certainly be interesting to see a place in America with no drug regulations. Or, I'm sorry, not regulations. No legalities around drugs.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would ever in a million years happen. I don't think it would. But maybe they do like a tester state.
Yeah, I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me anymore.
Like, let's pick a place. Like, let's pick a state we're all indifferent about. Like, we don't mind that it's there, but we wouldn't mind if it had to go.
Ohio.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Like, Ohio. Guess what? Tomorrow, Ohio, all drugs are legal starting right now. We'll see what happens. It might become a war zone, and then we quickly just nuke it, get it off the map, start over there.
Yep.
Or
New Ohio.
It turns into an I was about to say an O'Haven. A haven. An Utopia. And that would be interesting to see.
Well, it's one of those things where you get real philosophical about it. It's like the idea of repression and suppression. And so it's like...
What?
No, seriously, like when you look at these drug laws, like if you're being suppressed so much, it's only gonna make it worse when you start to dive into these worlds or dive. Are you
saying like because it's illegal, it kind of makes people more enticed?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, listen, think about if you really dig deep enough on all crime, including murder. Probably a lot of rapes, a lot of like terrible shit that happens in the world. It probably all stems from drugs. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, as much as we want to be the cool drug guys, drugs are bad in the long run.
Okay.
But like, I've never heard like a murder in Florida that didn't have something to do with drugs.
Yeah.
Or the alternative. Fucking somebody's wife.
That's always gonna happen, and murders are always gonna stem from it. And I just rest my damn case on that.
Drugs or wives?
Wives.
Yeah, well,
Infidelity.
you know, it almost happened to us.
Yeah.
But
Real close.
We realized that friendship was more important.
And we might as well all just fuck each other. I rest my damn case.
We're out there conditioning the air, screwing each other's brains out. That's not an art piece. That's an air conditioner. But aren't we all air conditioners in a way, screwing each other's brains out? Ongo Kablogian.
That's a good one now. And man, does it make me feel right. Spring's in the air. Oh, spring. It's the springtime.
Yeah, meanwhile, this weekend was fucking cold and rainy today at the Jersey Shore. It was fucking freezing and cloudy and windy.
Yeah. You know, it's, we need them to turn the machines on. Switch the knobs, guys. It's time.
It is about time that we have, like...
Switch the knobs.
I wouldn't mind if the government regulated the weather.
Yeah, it's like, get it going.
Get that shit going. Elon.
Come on, Elon.
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk.
Did you see Elon Musk at the Met Gala?
No.
He's just like so awkward in interviews. He's like,
oh wait, I did see that.
They're like, so why did you want to come tonight when you could be doing anything else? He's like, my mother wanted to come, so I brought my mother.
And then they're like, why don't you donate your money or something like that?
Yeah.
And like help humanity. And he's like, well, my products and my companies are going to, obviously the goal is to better humanity.
That's a hard impression.
In society.
It's like South African, but like, I don't know.
And then it's like an awkward nerd in one.
Yeah.
Like borderline autistic.
His podcast with Rogan was still one of the craziest things.
Yeah, like that's like, you listen to that and it's like, oh yeah, he's clearly autistic. He's a genius.
What about Dave Chappelle?
I was incensed! Pow!
Did anyone, what's pretty funny is
ran up on stage!
So that whole thing was crazy, right? Then even crazier, they immediately got the guy and very blatantly beat him half to death.
Yeah,
like the
that
videos
was great.
and pictures are very public. There was no way that happened.
Let's normalize that.
That didn't happen in a small amount of time on stage. They took him backstage after Dave Chappelle was clear and safe and proceeded to stomp the fuck out of that
Listen,
guy.
guys, if we're going to normalize anything in the society of normalization, let's normalize that.
Stomping out punk
It's
bitches.
called play stupid games, win stupid prizes, motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly.
That shit was great.
The thing is, we haven't heard a single thing about that guy because he's probably fucked, and they're just trying to suppress it because he probably has all the rights to continue to litigate against the guys that beat the fuck.
The guys who beat the fuck out of them, you remember that scene from Charlie Murphy stories? We about to bend your legs like you bent your chains, bitch.
It's so funny because Dave Chappelle, you would think from the Chappelle show and all that shit.
Take it easy. Get off.
That's exactly what would happen if you stepped to Dave Chappelle, but it's you whatever. And it actually happened, and that was exactly what went down.
It's amazing.
His homies just beat the fuck out of that guy and stomped him to bits.
But speaking of, slapping comedians and such, did you see Will Smith and Jada? They're getting the dizzy.
Yeah.
The divorce.
That's actually confirmed?
Yeah, I saw an article today.
What, National Enquirer?
Yeah, it was National Enquirer. It was Swamp News.
Is that true?
Yeah, I saw something. Maybe
if that's the case...
we'll confirm right now.
Listen.
Happy Mother's Day.
I'm on the record saying I don't give a fuck about those people. I think they're dumb. I think they all are fucking stupid.
Rumors. It's a rumor.
But at the same time, it's listen, man, after you completely tarnish your reputation, ruin the most important night of your life and all this shit, I would hope that you guys continue to have a happy marriage where it's I rode for my wife and she loves me. If they just throw it all away after that and it was completely for nothing, that's gonna suck.
I don't know. I'm the opposite. I hope to God he divorces that woman.
I mean, I do as well.
She's the devil.
But I just it's still baffles me that he did that in the first place.
I was incensed. Pow. Yeah, dude.
Dude, speaking of that shit, the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial's on everyone's mind. You guys made a skit about it yesterday.
Yes.
I haven't really been keeping up with it because I'm I don't give a fuck. I know I've been seeing the headlines and whatnot, but I really am getting tired between Will Smith and Jada, between this and all this shit with Amber and Johnny Depp. why, A, as a society, are we paying attention to this? B, why is this even allowed to happen?
Because that's what the lizard people want, man. Listen, you guys are listening to Freedom Radio, and I'm going to tell you this. The elites and the lizard people, they want us consuming Amber Heard, Johnny Depp. They want us consuming Manscaped and Dave Chappelle. They want us consuming Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith.
Listen.
They don't want us to know that 100 people died yesterday.
Joe D. Phillips, I'm about to give you the big enchilada. What's going on right now, there's multi-dimensional beings, right? And what they're trying to do is they're brainwash you with this Amber Heard trial, and they want you to pay more taxes to their child sex slave ring.
Trevor Noah works for the CIA, Joe. He works for the CIA. And you're going to sit here and try telling me that it's not true? Oh, I'm about to beat your fucking ass. I'm so pissed.
I'll never forget.
Eddie Bravo.
Oh, my God. Look into it, man.
You really think there's people campaigning for late-term abortions, Alex? You really think that? They voted for it in the fucking Senate,
Dude,
Bravo.
they pull up a picture of Earth taken from the space shuttle taken like 2 hours ago. He's like, that's Photoshop. That's not real. And it's like, what are you talking about? I'll never forget, though, it was like mad summers ago, however long ago it was. You guys were working on your sketch show, Unwatchable.
Yes.
And you're like, Matt, they want you to come be in a sketch. You got to just drive out to deep Connecticut. I'm like, all right, I'll be there tomorrow. I fucking hop in my car early in the morning. I was so hyped. It's like a 4-hour ride, 3-hour ride to whatever it was. And the Joe Rogan episode just came out with Alex Jones and Eddie Bravo. And it was 4.5 hours long. And I'm like, great, dude, this will get me all the way there. And I'm just driving by myself through the summer sun deep into Connecticut countryside, just listening to fucking Alex Jones being like, listen. I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give you the big enchilada. He never gets around to telling what his big enchilada is. And then eventually at like hour 3.5, he does. And essentially what he says is like, there's some type of fourth dimension and they're like sucking our souls from it. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, man, that was the biggest waste of my fucking time, man. And then, as me and Joey know...
You're like, oh, wait, that was the biggest waste of my time?
And then I got to Connecticut, waited around all day, and then they decided not to shoot that sketch, and I left.
Oh,
didn't do anything.
That was horrible.
Great time.
Yeah, well, that wasn't my fault. My person that I was supposed to get, he showed up. All these people for a party scene that they claimed were coming, yeah, not a single one showed for that one.
That's what happens when you try to shoot films in deep state Connecticut.
Yep. You get a lot of... Dude, we went to this family's home to shoot in their, like, expensive mansion, and they're like, all right, well, hey, yeah, guys, you got it. We'll be upstairs.
Dude, that was the thing. I was there. Like, we went to the set. We were getting ready to shoot.
Dude, we had all the equipment loaded. Like, everything was loaded in, and we're like, all right, guys, we got this place for 3 hours. They're upstairs. We're going to turn this living room into, like, a big party scene. We got 20 people coming for the party scene. They should be here within the hour, and then it's like one by one. Oh, hey, man, I can't make it tonight. I gotta go to a... Oh, no, hey, dude, I got the flu. Oh, no, hey, man. And then all of a sudden, we had 0 people for a party scene, and then the main character of the sketch, you, was there, and it's like, well, how can we shoot a party scene? What if all of us that are here as the crew play the party people? All right, well, there's 5 of us. Someone has to work cameras, so that means 4 of us will be in the... Yeah, it didn't work out.
That was so fucking funny, dude. Yeah.
You gotta love indie filmmaking, man.
Love it. Never got my gas paid for it.
That's so... Yeah, you know what's so funny? You never got your gas paid for, and then 2 kids on the crew that were hired for like $5,000 each, they never got their $5,000.
Hey,
again, none of that was my fault, but I remember I had to be a part of that chewing of the ear, and I'm like, why didn't these kids get paid? Oh, well, we didn't have any money. Why did we tell them they were getting paid that if we had no money? Well, we were supposed to get the money. Why didn't we get the money?
Did you guys hire Joe Senra's film crew?
Yeah, that guy. Well, we paid him.
Yeah.
You have to pay him in full before he shows up.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It's the opposite. That is funny.
And then he doesn't show up, or he shows up and he says that we just broke his mic because someone farted
What
too
the
loud.
fuck? You broke my mic. We're done here. Clean up.
That was great too, because my girlfriend had broken up with me the day of one of my good friend's funerals, and then I went to go shoot that pilot. So it was a great week of my life where I felt really
I'm trying to
good.
think about when that was a while ago. That was what, the summer going into like junior year probably?
My senior year, yep.
Wow, dude.
So it was 2018.
Yep.
August 2018.
That's fucking nuts. 'Cause I'm trying to think about who you're talking about, who you're dating at the time. I'm like, oh wow, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was like, at my buddy's funeral, I'm like, wow, this is fucked. Like, what? Life is just fucking so fucked up. And then it's like, hey, so we're done now. And I'm like, oh, okay, good. That's great. And then it's like, hey, Joe, so after the funeral, you can take the train into New York, and then we're going to take a train to Connecticut. Yeah, sounds good. And then I'm just sitting on a bus to New York in like 2.5 hours traffic, because every single bus in the city, you remember that? I ever send you that photo where it's like 40 buses, and I'm not exaggerating, it was 40 buses all going into the Lincoln Tunnel.
I feel like I remember you saying
It's the worst thing. It comes up in my Snap memories every year, and I'm just like, I must have wanted to hang my... I was sitting on that
was
bus.
like that day when I was trapped at the Montclair State parking garage for a
You're
long
just
hours.
like, it's one of those things where you're just like, I can't even get off. Like, I have to ride this out. It's like, can anyone just put a tranquilizer dart
I'm telling you, that's like my biggest pet peeve in the world. It stresses me out and gets me more angry than anything ever, is traffic. Because you're so trapped and you cannot do anything about it. And
Yeah,
I'm
it
always
gets me more anxious than angry
Oh my
sometimes.
God,
where like I'll
dude.
fucking sweat, and I'm like, I can't even get up and walk it off.
Yeah. Fucking so annoying, dude.
But, you know.
Elon, what are you doing, buddy?
So is life.
So is life.
C'est la vie.
We got... C'est la vie!
C'est la vie.
We got our comeuppance though for I don't know if that's the right word, but
Our comeuppance.
we recycled unwatchables into parlayed it into something that benefited us.
Yeah.
We'll just say that for
Yeah.
the Good Crack podcast. Hey man, nice motorcycle.
I remember
Fuckface.
looking back on that pilot because we did a really good job with it.
You guys did do a good job.
For being like seniors in college,
Yeah.
very little resources. I mean, the fact we got on the phone with like MTV, like I got that, like I look back on that, I'm like, Jesus Christ, we actually did some pretty cool shit for being so young and not knowing what the fuck was going on. But looking back on it every time when we were shooting that, I always said that we got to get a little dirtier. I was like, guys, we got to like get a little dirtier.
Yeah.
Like throw out a
Do it.
But I was like, you know, like we gotta curse a little bit, make it a little more crude. Like I think that'll benefit us. And everyone really wanted to dial it back, be like a little more corny. And I always watch it and I'm like, man, if only we dropped that N-bomb, you know? I'm kidding. But if only we made it a little more crude.
Nah, I think from the outside looking in, that was just the case, and this happens to all young film students and artists at a time in their life where there's just way too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And the only way you're going to ever get anything good done is if you have someone or maybe two people with a vision and know what they need to get done and know how to guide the thing. And I think that was the case, you know?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point.
And I just remember the stories you telling me about the production of that amongst all your squad, and it just seemed like so much. You know?
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. We made it happen. It was a lot. And I forgot who I was with some group of people, and they're like, oh, have I seen it anywhere? And like I was like, well, no, it never got picked up by anybody, but we did it. Like,
Yeah.
And I cried after that. I cried a lot.
I remember at one point I was like, me and you were trying to figure out a way to like make it like my fraternity's fundraising event was like a screening of that at Montclair State.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yep. We went on a screening bender. We screened it at Marymount.
How did that go?
It did okay. Like half of it got laughs, and then like we were like, DJ Pussy was the name of a character, and he's like, man, that song, that shit was better than Pussy.
Was that Phil?
No, well, Phil was the DJ, but Gilchrist is the one who delivered that line when he's talking about Phil's new song, and everyone like in the audience was just straight faced, and they're just like, did he just say pussy? And we're like, yeah, guys. And then they said we were alt-right and had ties to $1 Million Extreme, and then they kicked us out of the school.
They said that?
Yeah, no, they didn't, but Felt like that. Felt like that.
I feel like sketch, especially sketch shows, are the hardest thing in the world to do.
Yeah, because it's like I feel like it's easier once your brand is more established. Because like if people don't get that, like if they don't get your sarcasm or like your satire, they're just like Sam Hyde, for example. It's like then they're just like, oh, you guys are just racist, or like, oh, you guys are just misogynist, or oh, you guys are just
it's
ignorant,
so hard not like cause
classist or
you
culturally
want to like lean
appropriating,
into
whatever.
like current events, and the only one that could really get away with that is Saturday Night Live because they're live and they're writing the week of. Like current event sketches are like great and all, but like they age very quickly. And then the other thing is like when you try to write originals, usually someone accuses you of being some type of bad person.
Yeah.
You know?
I was watching last night.
I think Eric Andre was one of the only like really great little sketch shows to break through in the modern times. You know?
He was great. I was watching last night before I crushed some SpongeBob. I've always liked James Austin Joseph because of like when he came up with like the whole Trump impressions on like
James
Twitter.
Austin
He's
Joseph?
the one who does like the Scooby-Doo Trump and all that. He's on SNL now. And so I was watching stuff about him because I always say he's fucking hilarious. And so I don't watch SNL. I don't watch it at all. You know, it's you know, whatever. But I saw how he had done some Trump and then Biden stuff this past year, and I was watching them, and it was so fucking funny that it was probably the only funny thing that I watched of like recent SNL. But he's so fucking spot on.
He did well with this season,
dude. Or like it was impressive too. His first episode on the show, he was the opening.
He did the cold open.
The cold open as Biden.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's so fucking good.
Does he do both? Or
He does
no?
both, yeah. And it's just, they're fucking killer. But
whatever happened to that other guy they had playing Trump?
oh, that guy.
That
yeah, you know he's a gun. He's a gun.
Alec Baldwin. What was his name?
He played that game.
I think he was an actor.
Well, he was working on a new film called Russian Roulette. And,
yes, I heard about that.
And so the whole thing is that there's a scene where he spits the bullet out of his mouth into the air and catches it in the chamber, and somehow they got a real bullet mixed in with the blanks, spits it into the chamber, shoots the camera woman, and then blows the smoke out of the barrel, real cool like,
And says,
"You
feeling lucky, punk?"
And then he realized that it actually was a real bullet.
Wow.
He actually did murder the lady.
Talk about another thing we haven't heard shit about.
Well, I listened to Tim Dillon was on his podcast,
Was on Alec Baldwin?
yeah.
No.
The episode came out like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I listened to it, and it's hilarious.
Wait,
yeah,
Tim Dillon was on Alec Baldwin's
yeah.
podcast.
Tim put up a Patreon I listened to maybe like 1 or 2 months ago, and he's like, I just did Alec Baldwin's podcast today. It was such a like. It was such a like once in a lifetime experience of just like it was fun, but it was strange, and it was just like
And this was post shooting.
yeah. And so I'm listening to this Patreon, and I'm like, I can't tell if he's kidding. Like part of me thought he was just joking, and then like 2 or 3 weeks ago he shared it to his story, and I listened to it. I'm like, oh, he actually fucking
Did you
did
listen
this.
to it?
Yeah.
What did they talk
And Alec
about?
Baldwin's just like, this is the Alec Baldwin show.
She's telling me
And
to
it's
slow
like
down.
smooth. It's
That
like
woman was
smooth
just
jazz.
telling me, I get there's a little child running around, but you're telling me to slow down. I'm going 15 miles an hour. Like, what else do you want me to do, lady?
She wants you to get out and push your car down the street when
I'll
your children
I'll
are
get out and
nearby.
I'll scissor kick that fucking 4-year-old in the face.
Yeah, I'll scissor kick him, all right.
That's nuts. Did Tim bring up the shooting?
No, they didn't bring that up at all.
Yeah.
I was eager to see, but it was something.
That's wild.
But yeah, so Alec is slowly getting back out there. It seems like he's got a
you think?
podcast. It has
He's
like
had a podcast.
It has like the smooth jazz playing.
Dude,
it's like,
you know what's so
it's
weird? I
funny.
listened to his podcast like 3 years ago because he had someone interesting on. And then I was listening to him talk about it. He's like, yeah, I've been doing this for like 10 years. Like, Alec Baldwin's had a podcast for upwards to like 10 years.
Wow,
Yeah.
underground king.
Yeah. He was doing well.
He was. I wish him well.
Do you think he'll ever come back to movies?
You know, I don't know. I mean, part of me says yeah. Part of me says yeah because like it seems like the pattern of like people doing fucked up shit, whether intentional or not, and getting like quote unquote canceled, it seems like we're
That is a
slowly-
case. Yeah, I feel bad because his name is just besmirched.
Oh,
Like,
I felt really
It
bad.
was an accident.
Yeah, I feel really bad.
I
for
still
the guy.
feel like maybe there's a part of me that's like he was probably fucking around and shot this woman in the chest, like in such an unnecessary way. So maybe it was his fault. But I don't think we'll ever
But
know that.
regardless, I think like I don't know. I'm like, I don't think he walked on set that day and was like, I'm gonna kill this woman. So that's why I feel bad because like, who wants to bear that cross?
I know, dude. That's
like-
nuts.
But what I was gonna say is that I just think that like the way everything is now, it seems like if you get canceled or whatever the fuck, you just need time. Like it seems like everyone who's gotten canceled, you know, besides like a Harvey Weinstein where it's just like so despicable.
Yeah, the sex
and
pests that like
disgusting.
were actually predators. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
great, let's get
like
rid of
burn
them
in
forever.
hell.
Yeah,
But like a guy like, you know, I'm trying to think of a good example so I don't shoot myself in the foot.
yeah. Army Hammer's an actual cannibal. He's done. I'm trying to think.
Louis C.K.
You know, Louis is an interesting one.
Louis is an interesting one.
Because I can't necessarily be like, yeah, all he
No,
did
it's
was
not-
jerked off in front of
No,
women.
but that's not what I'm saying. My whole thing is that, like, apparently all these women did give consent. And so I'm like, it's strange. Consent was given.
the guy's a fucking weirdo.
Weird, but, you know, at the end of the day, what? Now it's like for the rest of our lifetime, it's like, I don't know.
It almost brings me
I
to my
don't know.
larger point about, like, I was going to bring this up about the Amber Heard thing, too. It's like, the thing that it really irks me is this. You fucking jerk-offs are all rich.
Yeah.
You hit the lottery. You get to do what you love. You get to be an international superstar. You get whatever you want when you want it. You have millions and millions of dollars. And then you have the fucking gall to go be a fucking weirdo, psychopath, sex pest, drug addict, fuck-faced, difficult asshole. You should be shot in the face.
Yeah, but, you know.
They should sign a contract that says if you ever fucking become unruly after we give you this opportunity, we get to publicly execute you. And we get to hire a new cast of actors, you know?
I think that's just power, though.
I do, but like,
It's all the
fuck these people.
I know, but I think it's like humans. Like, this is what happens to people. Is like some people, they have a few things inside of them that might not be necessarily quote unquote turned on yet. And it's like power is a fucking drug like anything else.
I guess so, man. I don't know.
I'm not. It's not saying it's justified.
No, it's not.
I'm just
No,
saying
you're
that like
100%
it makes
right.
sense.
And dude, like,
it makes
you know,
sense.
from all the brushes we've had with fame, I'm sure you're in the same boat, but like, you know, I've said it before, like, people that I've been around, whether it's through internships or on film sets, like, you could tell these fuckers are weird. And it's like, you know what, I get it. Every person you've ever met knows who you are before you meet them. That you can't make a first impression.
Right.
You're constantly under a watchful eye from paparazzi, the press, blah, blah, blah. I get it, but I feel like once you get to that level, you have to immediately figure out a way to proactively manage that and live a healthier life.
Yeah.
And, you know, unless you want that, unless you want the crazy and you want to dive in and you're in it just for the attention, and then at that point it's like, once again, go fuck yourself. But I don't know, dude, because I feel like you do see some people that are managing it well, but then you don't know what the fuck they're doing. Who knows?
Yeah.
Like a McConaughey, you're like, oh, well, that guy's he's just plain old fun.
But then it's like that could be the perfect candidate to be doing some crazy shit.
What do you mean?
Like the ones that like really are put together and like you would never suspect it.
Yeah, and that's I don't want those people either. Like,
No,
fuck,
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like you never know.
Yeah, no,
You
you're
just
right.
never know.
You are right. I don't know. I guess it is a power thing and a fame thing.
You know.
You would just hope, you know, that if you
And you got to realize people too. Like trauma's real. You know, like what happens to you early in your life, or just in your life in general, does affect your future. And if you have a bunch of people who are just traumatized or have dealt with these insane circumstances, now you've just given them this power. It's like, well, these people they shouldn't even have power to begin with.
Yeah.
But it just worked out. So that's another thing too.
You know how I think you solve it? Movie stars that get paid a couple million a movie, pay them like $60 an hour, $50 an hour.
You know what it is? No, you pay them the millions, but here's how it works. It's like, all right, you're making $20 million for the movie. We're shooting for 2 months straight. That's December. You're going to be a geek for the next 7. You're going to be a geek for the next 7 months, and then after that 7 months, you're good for the next 2 years. And then within that, you could do another movie. But the moment you make another movie for millions of dollars, you are going to have to do a 7-month-long geek tour.
You have to do a 7-month geek tour.
It just keeps them humble.
Yes, and the best part about it for them would be that it's only temporary.
And in this, it actually is.
Yeah.
It actually is. Now we're not just selling you a pipe dream to get you in and geek. We're actually telling you the actual truth.
I'll tell you what,
it's
folks.
temporary. You don't even have to make another movie again. If you stop making movies, you never have to geek again.
Because
but if you want to continue,
you already got the $2 million.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But if you do another movie, they have to give you the $2 million.
And maybe next time it's $4 million, but you still got to do the 7th month.
And even if you do a shitty performance,
and you know what?
Still get the $2 million.
They have to do the geek tours for a wide variety of things. It could be a geek tour for the troops. It could be a geek tour for children's hospitals. It could be a geek tour for colleges.
Geek tours for children's hospital. A bunch of kids with terminal illnesses just watching a guy bite a chicken's head off. The nurses are like, this is so fucking dark. And the kids are like throwing money into the center, rolling dice.
Oh, dude, I can't drive.
And they're like, God, I'm going to die soon.
They go to St. Jude's Children's Hospital and they take a bunch of children.
They're all smoking cigarettes and cigars, drinking like Johnny Walker. And
they
they're
dress them up as like 1920s carnies.
2 of them get into fights with one another over their bets.
They bring them to a pit and it's just like, all right, guys, bring them out.
And they all come walking with walkers.
It's fucking Timothy Chalamet, all fucked up and grizzled with a beard and his blood just all over his mouth. And fucking Willem Dafoe, like, he doesn't have to geek, but he has to full-time be the carny presenter for these geek tours. And he's like, today at the St. Jude's Children's Hospital, is he man or is he beast? Timothy Chalamet is the geek. Wow. Dude, we only come up with good ideas here. And the thing is, the crazy part is, call me crazy, call me fucked up, I'm not joking. I think that would be a better thing for the world.
It probably would.
I think it would help celebrity culture if, Kim Kardashian, like they could even make like a tier system for like, oh, you're not doing a movie, but you're making headlines because you're doing stupid shit like dating Pete
4-month geek tour.
4-month geek tour. Pete's with you. You guys got to go do it together.
Because listen, one day at a soup kitchen, it's not enough. 4 hours at a soup kitchen, big fucking whoop.
Those are statement pieces.
Yeah. 365 days a year and you did 4 hours at the soup kitchen, you better start geeking.
I think what we're talking about here is we need to disrupt their lifestyle.
Yeah.
And 2 months isn't going to do it. 3 months isn't going to do it. We need a solid 7 months to a year for them to go change their world around them, to really understand what they've achieved and what they have and how good it is.
And like we said, it actually, this time around, it really is only temporary. So, like, put your head down, put the work in, and then, dude, when you're done, after that 7 to 12 months, maybe 14, maybe 18 months, maybe it could be full-time, but when you're finally done, dude, you get to go back to Malibu. You got $8 million in the account. You got $6 million in the investment fund. You're fine. You're doing well.
And you know what?
You closed on the vacation house.
We'll make it fun. We'll make it worthwhile for them. We'll do a yearly Geek Awards.
Yeah, there'll be coffees and cakes. They'll have a roof over their head,
a place to sleep,
a few hits from the bottle.
And guess what? At the end of the year, we'll do the Geek Awards, and they could win the Geek. You know, and whoever, because then that gives them.
Oh my God!
That gives them initiative to do a good job.
People go method geeking.
Yeah, because you don't want them to do the movie, collect their $20 million, and say, all right, now I'm going to go half-ass this 7-month geek tour. We want them to fucking be performing. You know what I mean? This is a money-making enterprise.
Some of them might get into it.
That's what I'm saying.
They geek even when they don't have to.
So then it's like, oh, end of the year, Bradley Cooper is winning his award for, the Leonard Bernstein biopic, but he's also up for the the Geek Award, the Best Male Geek. Yes. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Best Male Geek under 30.
That's
supporting geek.
That's perfect. That's literally perfect.
Because then it just gives them initiative for both things. And then you might find a guy, it's like, oh, Miles Teller, yeah, we liked you as an actor somewhat, but you know what? You're doing a really good job geeking. Maybe you go do that full time.
Yes.
Maybe that's your new trade. Maybe that's your new performance.
Yep.
I think it's a really interesting concept that we should heavily look into.
And, with that said, why aren't we solving the world's issues right now?
Think about how much money we could have generated in that time of making all A-list actors geek. Because think about that. You could sell out Madison Square Garden if Leo DiCaprio is going to go geek.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I would pay money to go watch Leo geek.
There's something to be said about the old idea of Roman barbarians and, arena-style death by combat or, carny freak shows. It's part of our lives. It's been part of our lives. It'll be part of our lives for years to come. It's something interesting to be said. Oh, here's Tome.
There's Tome.
Tome, how the hell are you? How are you?
Haven't seen your bird.
I know, I missed you.
What are you guys doing?
Not much, just
Hanging out?
Carcasting.
Carcast.
Carcast.
We're doing a Carcast.
You just record it?
Yeah, we're
going. You're
You
on.
made him 2 hours late to top golf for?
Yeah, that was that was just the trick of the trade, man.
How's your guys' Mother's Day?
Good.
How
I
are
was
you?
down the shore.
I just got off of work.
Really?
Oh, really?
Jesus Christ,
I
dude.
just got back now, but
Yeah.
Hey, listen, man. Grind don't stop, right? We'll see you soon, all right?
alright guys.
Love you, brother.
Tome.
Peace.
Peace.
Tome.
Yeah, so with that said,
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. If something's not going well in life, start geeking.
You know what? There's always something to be said about geeking.
Yeah.
There's never not something to be said about it. That guy's just choking his dog for fun. That kid's growing up to be a serial killer.
Matt, how about a quick message from our sponsor?
Guys, this episode has been brought to you by Manscaped. As we talked about on the Carcast, spring is here, guys. I know the weather doesn't seem like it, but spring has arrived. And with that comes spring cleaning. You might want to clean your apartment. You might want to clean your house. You might want to clean out your car. But you know what you should also not neglect to clean? Your balls, your downstairs mix-up, your salad, You're going to want to order yourself a Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0, a performance package, all the great products that Manscaped has to offer, because you know what? Spring means a lot of good things, but what it means mostly is you're going to be out and about slinging dick, and you're going to want to have a clean downstairs mix-up. Joe, tell them where they can find these products.
Guys, you're going to be able to get 20% off and free shipping when you go to manscaped.com and use code GOODCRACK. It's as easy as that. GOODCRACK for 20% off and free shipping on any Manscaped products, whether it's the 2-in-1 shampoo conditioner or it's just the ball moisturizer. Anything you want, you can have it 20% off free shipping. Code GOODCRACK at manscaped.com. Your balls will friggin' thank you. They really will.
Hey, folks, your balls would thank you. Smoke them if you got them.
Smoke them if you got them.